Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. Today I'm going to talk about the WNBA games for Friday, August 30th. So in news, before I jump into the actual games, the news for the day was the Connecticut Sun released Caitlin Bickle, but then they signed her to a rest of the season contract the same day or the next day. So great for her. She gets to have job security, and since they are going to the playoffs, postseason. So she's got a few more weeks ahead of her. The Mercury, Phoenix Mercury, did release Celeste Taylor, but they signed her to a 7-day contract. This is her third with the team. Now, let's get into the games for today. There were four. Two of them were on at the same time. I think it was like 5:30 or whatever my time, and then the other two games were on at the same time at 8 o'clock. Very annoying, as they do, but it is what it is. The first game was the Lynx versus Wings, so Minnesota Lynx versus the Dallas Wings. The first quarter was very close. I think Alana Smith may have gotten injured. I don't know if she was taken out of the game in the first quarter, and I didn't really see if she came back or not, but hopefully she's all right. It was an 18-22 score at the end of the first. In the second quarter, again, an extremely close quarter. Natasha Howard, Satu Sabli, and Enrique Gumbawale from the Wings was like they were all contributing all equally in that first half. They all had 10 points each, so really great for them, but it was still close. It was a 40-39 point game. Going to the third quarter, the Wings are able to control most of this quarter and have the lead, which I'm shocked by, to be honest, because the Lynx are just playing fantastic this year, and the Wings are not. So the Lynx are good and the Wings are not, but they've been coming up lately. So at the end of the third quarter, it was 59-68. Going to the fourth quarter, the Wings are really going after it, and they're extending the lead, and they got it up to like 17 points. I was flabbergasted seeing that score. Again, Natasha, Satu, and Enrique were putting in work. The Lynx were struggling, but they were able to shave off like a few points in the fourth quarter. It was nice to see Alyssa Peely getting some minutes for the Lynx. They don't play her very often. Sev Uzun for the Dallas, though, she was playing some really great defense, and the Wings were able to lock in and put this game away. Excuse me. It was 76-94. Whoa. So this was the Lynx's like first loss in like 6 or 7 games. So it's kind of hard to maintain that kind of dominance momentum, but I see them being a pretty heavy contender in the playoffs. So this is just like one loss for them. But looking at the box score for this game, let's look at the Lynx. Bridget Carlton had 12 points, 2 steals, 1 block, 7 rebounds. Nafisa Collier had 17 points, 10 rebounds for a double-double. She also had 2 blocks. Kayla McBride had 14 points. Courtney Williams had 8 points. Maisha Hines-Allen had 7, and Cecile Zandalcini had 11 points. So I think she's like her second year. She had a really good game. Looking at Dallas Wings, Satu Sabali, like I said, she had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. A fantastic night for her. Natasha Howard had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Tiara McCowan had a fantastic night, 11 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. Love to see that from Tiara. Enrique Gumbawale had 25 points, 8 assists. What the fuck, dude? That's just a fantastic points. 1 steal, 1 block. Sevgi Uzun had 11 points. Really great night for her. And she had 4 steals, which is wild. 4 freaking steals. Natasha Howard, by the way, had 3 steals, but I didn't mention that. Kalani Brown had a fantastic night. She had 10 points. Kalani is not a high scoring player. She's more of a defender in the post. But yeah, she had 10 points in this game and 2 blocks. So fantastic night for Dallas. Now going over to the other game that was on, it was the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky. I just, I always have to preface this, like, I really hate this narrative of, like, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, because it's, like, they play 2 different positions, and they hardly ever guard each other, so it's really not a rivalry or a competition. It's just, like, something that the media puts out there, and then Caitlin Clark's really shitty-ass fans, not all of her fans, mind you, but a lot of her fans, who are, like, very racist, MAGA-loving kind of people, use that to spew hate online, calling people thugs and classless and stuff like that. So I don't really fuck with that, so I don't really watch Fever games because they have enough support. They don't need my views. They really don't. But and also I just so tired of this like rookie of the year stuff, because I'm like, the number one player is almost always, like 95% of the time, is going to win the rookie of the year unless they suck. So this like idea that Angel is in the running for this is like such bullshit. And it's like, why are we even talking about this? It's just dumb. Anyway, whatever. I didn't watch the game really. I was like glancing at the game, so I do have some information. I just didn't really watch it. So the thing about this game was that Kennedy Carter was out. She still has COVID, so she was out, and I was like, ooh, if Kennedy Carter's out, they're not gonna win this game. She's the highest scoring player for the Chicago Sky. So I unfortunately, not to be negative, I was just like, they're probably not gonna win this game. Things to note: Shaquille O'Neal was in the house. He's really close with Angel Reese, and then Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe were in the building as well. So nice to see that. In the first quarter, it looked like it was a strong start for the Sky. Lindsay Allen and Michaela Onyenwere had a really hot start, but the Fever did keep it pretty close. It was 23-26. In the second quarter, it looked like it was still a close game. Again, Lindsay Allen and Onyenwere were stepping up, without Carter. It was 47-42 at that point, a little flip, but still pretty close game. In the third quarter, the game is competitive, but the Fever start to maintain a lead, and I was seeing like Demiris Dantas was like finding her shot every which way. It was 76-64. So the Fever are starting to get a really big lead at that point. And then what I did notice in the fourth quarter when I glanced at the game, that there were a lot of reviews from the refs. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it definitely made the game extended because like the first game that I watched, the Lynx versus the Wings, it was over and there was still 5 minutes left in the Fever game. So all the reviews like that, I'm sure that probably wasn't very I'm sure it wasn't on the side of the Sky, I'm sure. But anyway, with no shooters, the Sky only had a couple of shooters, so the lead ballooned, and then the final score was 880. Oh my god, 100 to 81. So let's look at this box score. Michaela Onyenwere did what she could. She had 20 damn points, okay? 6 rebounds. Angel Reese had a double-double, as she normally does. We expect this. 10 points, 11 rebounds. And most of them were defensive. People always talk shit about her and her offensive rebounds. She only had 2 offensive rebounds. 1 steal. Carmela Cardoso had 6 points, 10 rebounds, 1 block. Rachel Banham had 14 points. Good night for her. Lindsay Allen had 19 points. 19 points, wow. And 6 assists. She had a pretty good night. And Diamond Shields had 6 points, but it just was not enough. Not enough firepower without having Kennedy Carter there. So the Indiana Fever, you had Lexi Hull with 11 points, 1 steal. Nalissa Smith had 14 points, 7 rebounds. Ilya Boston had kind of a quiet night. She only had 7 points. And 5 personal fouls. She was having some issues, so can't have a great night every night. Kelsey Mitchell had 23 points. You expect that from Kelsey. Caitlin Clark had 31 points and 12 assists for a double-double. And from what I hear, I think this was her career high, so good for her. And then Demiris Dantas had 9 points, and that's what I was seeing. I saw Demiris like hitting a whole bunch of shots when I did look at the screen. So that was that game. And then the next 2 games that were on at the same time. So the first one was the Atlanta Dream versus the Atlanta Dream versus Las Vegas Aces. I was super hyped about this game because Tina Charles, who plays for the Atlanta Dream, has been playing so well. She's coming off of her first triple-double, but then I heard that she was out of the game for unspecified personal reasons, so I was like, womp womp. Dream are probably not going to win this game. Like, Tina is an integral part of this team, so I was like very skeptical. So anyway, and then also Jackie Young was out for resting. Apparently this was Becky Hammon's decision. She felt that she had too many aches and pains and she did not want to risk it, so she did bench Jackie. Not related to the game, but I do want to point out Jackie Young was wearing the most peculiar outfit. It was like a private school girl kind of outfit, and the top was like a crop top, and then she had like it's a white crop top, private school kind of top with a pink lavier, the little women's tie. I was like, what are you wearing? I mean, it's a look. I am not into fashion. I wear moisture wicking shirts every day. I don't know anything about fashion, but I was like, that is That's an outfit. That's what I'll say. That's an outfit. But anyway, the first quarter was very tight, fast start to the game. There was a crazy offensive rebound sequence for the Aces at one point. They were going at it. But that quarter ended 18-22. The second quarter, Aces were putting things together in that second quarter, and they got a lead. But the Dream were able to cut it to 1 point with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. But still, it was 38-44. Aces favoring the Aces. Going to the third quarter, much the same. In the third quarter, the Aces are having a slight edge there, and I was so shocked to see Leticia Miri. She plays for the Dream, and she never ever gets any minutes. Tanisha Wright never plays her, and she was in the game. I was like, oh my god, Leticia gets some minutes. Oh my god, finally. Anyway, but that was 58-65 at the end of the third. In the fourth quarter, Alicia Clark picks up 2 quick fouls at the beginning of the quarter, and again, it's just like these refs. We always talk about how bad the refs are. They're bad. They're terrible. And then, these were touch fouls, so it was kind of bullshit, but it is what it is. Aces do have an edge or a momentum due to the Dream having so many turnovers, and then Asia Wilson was doing Asia Wilson things. Alicia Gray, though, was keeping them in it with, 1 minute and 21 seconds left. She had, cut it to, 7 points. But then Tiffany Hayes was having a fantastic night, really helping to stretch that lead for the Aces. Both teams ended up just dribbling the ball out for the last 30 seconds of the game. They do shot clock violation, and they just give it to the other team, and they just dribbled it out. The score was 72-83. Aces win. But not having Tina Charles really hurt the Dream. I mean, that was a lot of points that were missing tonight. But even with that, the Aces do clinch their playoff spot. They are now number 4 on that playoff standings list. Now let's look at the box score for that game. Ryan Howard had 12 points. Naz Hillman had 19 points. She had 9 points, 8 rebounds. Alicia Gray had 17 points and 9 rebounds, 6 assists. She had a pretty good night. Jordan Canada had 10 points. Nia Coffey had 8 points. Maya Caldwell had 6 points. And Laura Kabaj had 6 points. Now for the Aces, Tiffany Hayes had 20 points and 7 rebounds, 1 steal. Alicia Clark had 7 points. Asia Wilson had 26 points and 16 rebounds. Ridiculous. She also had 5 goddamn blocks. Girl's a beast. Oh my god. Also 5 assists. She had 5 assists. Kelsey Plum had 18 points. Really good night for her. 1 steal. And Sydney Colson had 6 points. Sydney Colson came in the game. She was only in the game for 10, 11 minutes and had 6 points. She comes in. She's a vet. She knows what to do, and she gets shit done. She also had a block. That's crazy. Oh my god. So yeah. Good game for the Aces. Final game, which was on at the same time as this Aces Dream game, was the New York Liberty versus the Seattle Storm. I'm loving seeing Gabby Williams' impact on the Storm, so I was really excited to watch this game. But annoyed that it was on at the same time as the Dream Aces game. It is what it is. So the first quarter, very even scoring. It was a high-scoring, high-energy quarter, though. It was basically tied the entire quarter. They were just going back and forth. It was 27-26 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, the Liberty are able to kind of get a lead in the second quarter, but the Storm do cut it to 2 points with 3 minutes left, and that quarter ends 49-51. Still very tight, very high scoring. Going to the third quarter, again, very tight quarter. The teams are just practically just trading buckets. It's 74-71. This is 2 to 3 point difference every quarter, right? Going to the fourth quarter, things get a little bit shaken up. Liberty going 11-0 run, starting to extend their lead. The Storm do start chipping away at it, but the Liberty just keep coming back. There's this crazy sequence where Sabrina Ionescu throws up a layup while she's falling to the ground, and then the rebound comes off the rim and it comes directly to her when she's on the ground, and she's able to push it back up into the rim. What? They have to have that on replay on ESPN or something, because that was the craziest shit ever. It was very acrobatic. It was highly impressive. Anyway, the Liberty are up 10 points most of this quarter. There's a point where Skylar Diggins-Smith gets hit in the mouth by Sabrina Ionescu, but it's inadvertent. It's she was going after the ball, but it does suck. Her bottom of her lip was fat. It was very, very fat. The Storm are fighting. They're trying to cut that lead until the very end, but the Liberty are just a touch ahead, and Liberty do win this game 98-85. But even with a loss, the Seattle loss, they were able to clinch their playoff spot. They are number 5 in the playoffs. Now let's look at the box score for this. So for the Seattle Storm, Gabby Williams had 7 points, 2 steals, 3 assists. Neko Wumake had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Ezzy had 6 points. Jewel Lloyd had 20 points. I mean, Jewel doing Jewel things. Also 1 steal, 1 block. Skylar Diggins-Smith had a fantastic game. She had 26 points, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And Victoria Vivens had 5 points. Pretty good because she's not the highest scoring person, but when she scores, it's really effective. But unfortunately, the New York Liberty came with a little bit more of an edge. And Leonie Fibich had 12 points, 2 steals. Brianna Stewart had 32 points. Goddamn, Brianna. She's so goddamn good. 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Jonquil Jones only had 6 points, but she had 11 rebounds. Quite a few turnovers, though. Sabrina Ionescu had 25 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Courtney Vandersloot had 6. Niara Sabli had 7. Benijah Laney Hamilton had 8. So very just like even scoring all the way around for the New York Liberty, and really pretty effective night for them. But yeah, that was the games for tonight. If you had to rewatch anything, I would watch the 2 later games for sure. The Dream versus the Aces, or the Liberty versus the Storm. Those games were super fun to watch. Very high energy, exciting basketball. A lot of fun plays for sure. All right, now if you like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe, follow. You know how to do social media. I don't need to tell you how to do social media. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.